Let's begin here. We're hearing from the lawyer representing the University of New England in a case over some plans to build a new research pier.
That's right. UNE sued the city of Biddeford last month for blocking work that has already been permitted. The university developed a plan to build the pier on the Saco River across from the Camp Ellis Town Pier. The city of Biddeford approved the project last summer, but city councilors then cited a moratorium that they imposed after the approval to bring everything to a halt. The university's argument is that since the work got permits before the moratorium passed, the project should be grandfathered in. UNE's attorney, Ron Schneider, said that he tried to talk to city officials directly before filing the lawsuit.
We have offered to resolve or try to resolve this, all our disputes, whatever they are, with the city, with the assistance of an independent outside mediator. And that offer has been rejected. So litigation was not our first choice. It was our last choice.
Schneider says public concerns brought up during discussions have been considered. He emphasized that the pier complies with local regulations and ordinances. We asked the city of Biddeford for a comment, but a spokesperson told us they cannot comment on pending litigation.
State of Maine is one of 7 states suing the Trump administration over a deal to end clean energy projects. Earlier this year, the administration paid a French company nearly $1 billion to refrain from building offshore wind farms. The lawsuit argues that that deal struck between Total Energies and the administration deprived some states of much-needed power and could increase electricity costs in New England as well as Mid-Atlantic region. The attorneys general of the states are calling that an illegal agreement that was done without a hearing, and that hearing would have been required by law.
Polls are officially closed in New Jersey, South Dakota, Iowa, New Mexico, Montana, and California, where voters cast ballots in primary races for U.S. House and Senate, as well as state offices. Californians had a long list of candidates for governor, and in New Jersey, President Trump endorsed an incumbent who hasn't been seen in weeks. NBC's Chris Pallone has some key results this morning.
This morning, the sprint to this fall's midterm elections is on, and the battles to control Congress and key state leadership positions across the country are taking shape.
California, thank you very much. November, here we come.
In California, where it can take days for all the votes to be counted, it appears former State Attorney General Javier Becerra, a Democrat, will finish in the top 2 in the race to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom.
I am ready to lead the fight to uphold California's promise.
His likely opponent, a former TV show host President Trump endorsed, Republican Steve Hilton.
Well over 1 million Californians have put their faith in me.
In Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass will try to win a second term in a November runoff. Her likely opponent, former reality TV star Spencer Pratt, whose anti-establishment campaign is striking a chord with some voters.
I'm an Angelino who said enough is enough, and I had to step up.
California voters echoing concerns that candidates are hearing across the country.
I care a lot about the environment, I care about foreign policy, I care about affordability, all those things.
This fall, a key battle for control of the House is in New Jersey. Former Navy helicopter pilot Rebecca Bennett will take on Republican incumbent Tom Keene. Keene has been away from the Capitol and out of the public eye for 3 months as he deals with an unspecified medical issue.
I am proud to say that we have won this primary.
For Democrats, taking control of the Senate comes down to states like Iowa. With Republican Senator Joni Ernst retiring, state lawmaker Josh Turek hopes to flip the seat from red to blue.
We need a fighter for the people, not for the billionaires, large corporations, and political donors.
President Trump endorsed the winner of the Republican primary, Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Meantime, the primaries in Maine are now just 6 days away, and Maine Secretary of State Shannon Bellows, who is also running for governor as a Democrat, has recently confirmed she will not take part in the counting of any of the votes. Chief Deputy Secretary of State Kate McBrien and Deputy Secretary of State Julie Flynn will be supervising all of the voting tabulation.
Democrat candidate for governor Dr. Nirav Shah is criticizing the economic plans of 3 Republican gubernatorial candidates. During a news conference in Brunswick yesterday, Shah singled out Bobby Charles, Jonathan Bush, and Ben Midgley. Shah described their plans as non-starters based on fantasy math, as he put it, when Maine governors are required to adopt a balanced budget. He criticized Charles's proposal to eliminate the state income tax, Bush's proposal for a $1 billion tax cut on day one, and Midgley's lack of a plan to address the cost of living.
And what we are seeing from Republicans who are running in this race are promises of massive tax cuts without specifying which services that vulnerable Mainers will be eliminated from receiving. That is not leadership. It is sloganeering and hiding the ball.
Shah says the biggest part of the state budget is not wasteful, but supports services that people rely on, like schools, Maine Care, and aid to towns.
Now, in response to Shah, Bobby Charles released a statement saying, in part, Dr. Shah is desperate for attention and that Democrats have raised taxes and spending to the point that Maine has become unaffordable. Ben Midgley posting on social media saying, quote, the contrast couldn't be clearer. The Mills-Shah establishment defending failure versus a proven CEO focused on results. That post also said that Midgley plans to hold a news conference in Lewiston today to respond further. And Jonathan Bush also responding, saying Shah helped Janet Mills run the state's economy and healthcare system into the ground. He's simply the wrong guy for the job.
Bush is also criticizing current state policies like the new paid family medical leave program. He says they're harming businesses around Maine. Bush says state laws and regulations are making it harder for business owners to continue operating here.
Everywhere I look, there's a layer and layer and layer of restriction that people don't face in other states. I hear about phone banks in Tennessee and North Carolina paid for by the state to call Maine businesses and say, let me compare your electrical rates. Let me give you land. I had a business owners offered free land to move their business from Maine to Mississippi.
The CEO of Volk Packaging, where Bush was campaigning, says he does not plan to leave, but he does think it's difficult to run a business in Maine, and he supports the next governor cutting back on certain regulations.
Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner met with Democratic senators in Washington, D.C. yesterday. That trip follows some recent reporting that Plattner had sent sexually explicit messages to multiple women early on in his marriage. A person familiar with the trip told NBC News that the trip was not related to those reports. Republican incumbent Senator Susan Collins, who could face Plattner in November, was asked what she thought about those reported messages.
Senator Graham Plattner said that his text messages should be a private matter. Do you agree with that?
I think it's a reflection of character.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer initially backed Governor Mills as his choice to take on Collins before she ended up suspending her campaign. Schumer meeting with Plattner yesterday, but did appear to be dodging questions about his continued support for him.
Do you believe that Janet Mills should unsuspend her campaign?
We're going to beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate. Last one.
You have not said if you're still endorsing Graham Plattner. Are you still supporting Graham Plattner?
As I said, I endorsed Graham Plattner. We're going to beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate. Thank you. Do you have any concerns?
Now, Mills, along with Plattner and David Costello, do all appear on Maine's Democratic primary ballot. And while she did suspend her campaign back in April, Governor Mills has not submitted her withdrawal to the state. That means that any vote for her would still be counted.